Welcome to another video of Walk with Phil, and I'm in West Bromwich, and today I'm going to take you around a few streets in the Lyng. The Lyng estate has been subjected to probably one of the biggest redevelopment programs in the history of the world. You would think so, wouldn't you? When you come around the Lyng now, everywhere's modern, contemporary, all these flats and modern buildings all around Sam's Lane and Littleton Lane and Littleton Street, and yeah, it's all modern. There's just a handful of terraced houses left now along Sam's Lane, but back in the day there was pubs and clubs and churches and schools, but they were all demolished. Many of the streets had their names changed, and many of the streets were rerouted as well. You know, it's amazing what they've done with the Lyng. Whether you think it's done for the better or not, who knows? But what I'll do is I'll start in Richard Street, just off Bromford Lane, and I'll take you down the Littleton Street, Sam's Lane and Newell Street, and we'll see what we can find around these roads and lanes. So let's go and check them out. Yeah, so I'm here on the corner of Richard Street South, and this is Oak Lane here. You can see here a whole row of houses, and you can see just at the end there where the terraced property ends, all this was flattened. All of here was flattened during the Second World War when a bomb exploded during the war, and it demolished all these terraced properties that were here. And you can see now all these were all newly built. Yes, there was a loss of life as well. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take you down here now, Richard Street South, and just, you know, when you look here, look how wide it is all here. Look, huge expanse of road. We got Richard Street West just along there. They look like 20s, 30s council properties. Just about somewhere around this area of Richard Street, there was a pub called the Oak Tavern. I'm thinking it might have been just here on this corner here. All this was all newly created now. These are all terraced properties back in the day. I think the pub was around about here somewhere, the Oak Tavern. It's long gone now. It was built in 1871 and it was demolished in 1956, or thereabouts. Where all the terraced housing demolition occurred all around here. They built the leisure centre just here now in Moore Street, effectively replacing the Gala Baths. It's a very blustery day today. It's a Wednesday morning. As I said, you know, the Lyng has been subjected to major changes, huge changes when it comes to housing, where lots of streets disappeared, pubs disappeared, school disappeared. You know, there was a heck of a lot of demolition occurred around over the decades around here. We're on Barton Street now, and we're just here. There's a factory here that's been on this site since 1843, and it was the Samuel Withers iron safe manufacturers. Just here, look. I'm not saying this is the original building by any stretch, but something is going on in there. But it says store a file, and whatever that is. And there's a couple of cars on the car park, but it used to have its own machine shop and paint shop, did Samuel Withers. There was also a Thomas Withers safe makers down Stony Lane as well. Just show you here as well the post office. There's a post office been here since around the early 1900s, 1902, something like that. Who remembers here on the corner a pub called the Rising Sun? It was built in 1879 and was closed in 2005, and the building just lay there slowly deteriorating until it was demolished in 2012. Well, the Rising Sun was a very popular building, very popular pub. It was sold by the Wolverhampton and Dudley Brewery in 2002. They sold it to Avebury Taverns, but by 2005 it had closed anyway. Now here we got the Turk's Head Way. There used to be a pub just on the corner here called the Turk's Head. Of course, Turk's Head Way is named after the pub. The Turk's Head was again an old Victorian pub, but it was rebuilt in 1924, and I think it may have been demolished in the 60s. But this was the original road of Sam's Lane. But as we said, there's so much change has occurred in the Lyng area that even whole streets have disappeared and street names have been changed. But yeah, this was Sam's Lane. What we'll do, we'll carry on down here Bromford Lane, a very busy Bromford Lane. Ahead of me is the White Swan. The White Swan has been there since the late 1800s, but it did close down for a time, and then it's now a bar and grill. Right, we're down Littleton Street then. Let's check out Littleton Street. Again, Littleton Street has completely changed. In as much as that we would have all terrace properties along here and right down the bottom down there, but now I'll show you, there's just a handful of terraced housing left, the original terrace housing left along Sam's Lane. But just show you just here. Now I'm no expert as to where this would be, but it was over the back there. There used to be, I think it may have been the Lyng Social Club, which was near to where Littleton Hall used to stand. Littleton Hall had been a building that had been standing there since around 1779. Obviously it was the Littleton family. They also owned a colliery, which was also over the back, and Littleton Hall was demolished in 1974. It was a 3-storey building, and also John Eisens lived there. He of the famous iron founder, and also the owner of the Bromford Iron Works lived there. And I believe it was used as a dairy until 1950. The screen's gone out the back of this car, hasn't it? Yeah, I think the Lyng Social Club was over there. If anybody's got memories of this area, put it in the comment section below, especially where the Lyng Social Club was. One or two have asked me where that was. I think it was over there, just at the back of these buildings here. Did you access it by going down Coyne Road or something like that, just off the Bromford Lane? This is Blacksmith Way. Again, it's all new, as is all the properties around here. Look, all these apartments, left and to the right. This is called the Sidings. Leopard Lane. Now Leopard Lane, I understand the Leopard was named after the pub called the Leopard that was on Moore Street just behind me. A whole load of new apartments up there as well. and the strong winds today has taken its toll on the bins. Just want to show you something as well. I've just walked straight past it. Just noticed this wild animal that's on the front of someone's front area. Look, here it is, big lion, and he's even tied to the fence, so the lion has no way of escaping. There's Westgate Mews, very fancy names for some of these newly created roads. There's Charity Big Way. I did a video about Charity Big Way a while back now. She was the one who was awarded the George Medal as a dispatch rider in the Second World War. There's a few pubs around here with royal connections, and this one is called the Prince Albert. We had two Prince Alberts actually. There was another one in Moore Street that disappeared in 2012, but this one is still trading. It's still a pub here on the corner of Horton Street, and the Prince Albert has been there since 1857. Horton Street. You can see in the distance, you can see like the outline of trees over there, but that was all collieries. Mining was all over round here as well, just here. There was all mining. There was the Victoria Colliery, which was just around here somewhere, where all these houses are built on. They're all built on where mining used to take place. Just further back beyond the Victoria Colliery was the Littleton Colliery, and further back than that was the Swan Lane Colliery. So it was all mining all around this area. Now there's BROMWICH Sam's Lane just down there. I'll go down there in a bit. I want to take you up another back street off Littleton Street. But before I do, just show you these shops here. Look, these are some original houses that are few and far between now. I don't think there's many. I don't think there are any more other than these few, as they've all been demolished now. Look, you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 houses there in residential use, and of course there's 3 shops just there. We've got a mini market and a fried chicken shop, and another takeaway just here behind this white van. So this is Lyng Lane. I did a video of Lyng Lane a while back. Check that one out if you can. I'll show you what was down Lyng Lane. But this again, as we've said earlier, the whole area has been redeveloped, and this wasn't Lyng Lane. This was originally called Sam's Lane. You can see now it's changed into apartments now, but it used to be called the Victoria Inn, and it was there. It's been there since 1897. It changed its name to the Vic in 2003. I'm not sure when it was last traded as a pub, but now you can see where the sign used to be, just there. Look, it's now gone, and now it's apartments. Just show you the rear of the original Queen Victoria pub. Look, goes back a bit, and this where was the car parking now, but you can see it's for private residential use now. And we got 5 letterboxes just on the side there, so we got 5 flats there now. And down along here in Newell Street, there was a couple of pubs as well. I don't know if anybody remembers these. It was we're going to make an educated guess here, because the original pub, the pub along here, had the address of number 36 Newell Street. So looking at number 36 just here, that used to be the Wellington, and it was a pub that had been there since 1871, and it was closed down in 1957. and we've got another pub just at the end somewhere of Newell Street. And there's a lot of this now. You can see, look, you've got to have a permit to park around many of these streets off the Bromford Lane. Richard Street, Barton Street. But there's a lot of this now where you just increasingly difficult to find parking space. Yeah, I would imagine that the pub was called would be what around here somewhere, where all this parking is for these new flats. It was number 55, Newell Street, and it would have been around here somewhere, I thought. But it was called the Albion. It was a pub that had been here since 1873 and was closed in 1966. So you've got to have long memories to remember these two pubs that used to be here in Newell Street. The road crossing from left to right ahead of me is Pleasant Street. But the building there ahead is also an old factory. It was the Eagle Tube Works that had been there since 1888, and it was owned by Thomas Hackett and Sons. You can see now there's all factory units now, but the building, the factory is still here. Look, you can see. Still getting some kind of industrial use. Now here we've got the Royal Castle, but it was actually called the Windsor Castle. So we've got a Prince Albert pub, we've got a Queen Victoria pub, and now we've got the Windsor Castle pub, as it once was. But now you can see it's called the Royal Castle. There's those old terrace properties I mentioned earlier. We're now on Sam's Lane. Just over here where it's called Farm Street. There used to be a farm here called Bullock's Farm. What we've got in Farm Street is all these council properties. And we've got this Fred Smith and Sons Motor Bodies Limited. I think this was the site of the farm. But this is Fred Smith's now, and just show you again the pub called was the Windsor Castle, and this building has been here since 1853, and it was closed in 2001, but it reopened in 2008 as a bar grill restaurant. A couple of people who owned the building were hauled up before court about an illegal extension to the building, and there was ordered to knock it down, but I'm not sure what became of the case. But this building, you can see it's got some age to it. You can see that. There's one of the main doors here to the Royal Castle, and just here, this used to be a house. So yeah, so there's one of the original houses that's still standing in Sam's Lane, but I presume it's now part of the pub. Just to my left was the Britannia Works. It was a big iron foundry back in the day. The Britannia Works is also here on my right. So old factories, late 1800s, 1870s, 1880s. You find a lot of factories, don't you, around West Brom that are still standing from the 1800s. Of course, they've all got a different use now because we don't manufacture anything with them now, because many of them used to be foundries. I did a video not so long back of Florence Road, and mainly I wanted to have a look at the church. You can see it just poking at the top there in the distance, Trinity Church, where Cliff Richard in 1969 made an appearance and gave a sermon. we'll just have a look over this side, and this is redeveloped body and repair specialists. We've got a few garages. There are longer car repair specialists along here, and we're coming to the end of our little walk along Sam's Lane. I just want to show you what used to be here on this corner just here. You can see there it's got seven space. I think they was trying to turn it into some kind of conference centre. I'm not sure if it's used for that these days, but it was the Vauxhall dealership, and they owned all this site for a time. But this site's had a few uses since. Sponwell Brewery ceased trading in 1922 when it was created by Henry Thomas Bates in 1880. After it became the Spon Lane service station, and it's then Sandwell Garages, the Vauxhall dealership, and now we've still, as you can see over there, we've got car. We've got some specialist car servicing over there and repairs. Okay, so there we go. There we have it. That's the end of our little jaunt along Sam's Lane here in West Bromwich. Okay then, folks, that was the end of our little walk along Sam's Lane. We did Newell Street, and we've done a bit of Littleton Street. We've done a few streets around here, but for those who remember the Lyng of old, it's nothing like it once was. But you know, that's progress for you, isn't it? So we'll leave it at that. So if you like the video, hit the like button, and also hit subscribe and hit the notification bell for new videos, and I'll see you on the next one.